Everybody, and welcome back to the 9 Frames podcast. This is episode 82, and it is Friday, March 8th, 2024. I'm Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
Be sure to catch us, as always, on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is 9 Frames, and our X is at 9 Frames Pod. Please follow us on there, subscribe, like, comment, and share if you enjoy the show.
Yeah, not a whole lot of news for today, but we figured we'd come on and just brief up the little bit that we got.
Yeah, another slow week for sure. I mean, honestly, we're just gearing up for the regular season at this point. There's only a couple more names to get off the board. A couple guys are having some struggles in spring training that we're going to talk about here, but
less than 3 weeks till opening day now. We got 20 days. So
it's an exciting time, man. I'm locked in on baseball right now. MLB The Show comes out in a week. It feels like baseball season is back.
Yeah, we'll hop right on into what we do have.
And before we start talking about the news of the active MLB, we do have to talk about a retirement. This one came kind of out of left field for me. I really didn't see it coming, but Josh Donaldson has retired after 13 years in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, the 2015 AL MVP, man. He was really good for a brief period, but the past couple of years, it's felt like he's kind of struggled to latch onto a team. He's bounced around from team to team, and now I guess he just kind of had enough of it.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking at his baseball reference recently, and like you said, man, 7 teams and 13 seasons there. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, back when he won the MVP, he was only on his second team. Mm-hmm. He was on the A's, and then he got traded to the Blue Jays, and then so he's been on 5 teams since winning the MVP. I mean, guy had a pretty solid career.
Definitely. He's one of those guys where when you look at his prime, there weren't many baseball players better on the planet, and I mean, it was a joy to watch him because he's a personality out there on the field, too.
Yeah, extremely crazy that he came up as a catcher, too, and then ends up winning an MVP as a third baseman and has a pretty lengthy 13-year career as a third baseman.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a guy you either loved or you love to hate, but either way, you can't knock his stats. He had a phenomenal career.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the guy, but you can't say anything about somebody that won an MVP.
Mm-hmm. He actually did say after he retired that the 2015 Blue Jays team that made the ALCS was the best team he was a part of during his career. Kind of hard to argue with that, but he was a member of the 2019 Braves.
Yeah, I guess that's crazy to say then. It is what it is. I mean, he could also be saying that because he won MVP.
Yeah. I mean,
because he was at his best.
I'm sure it's a fondness for him. He's got to have a bunch of nostalgia for that season, and you can't blame him. What a year.
Yeah, I mean, we're saying he won MVP, and who did he beat out for that MVP? It was Mike Trout.
Yeah, Mike Trout came in second that year. Pretty wild. He was also a three-time All-Star in his career and a 2-time Silver Slugger. /261, 358, and 489. Nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, so congrats on retirement.
That's all for sure. Now we will take it on over to the active MLB. We got an extension. Another one that kind of came out of nowhere because this is a guy who only pitched a couple of seasons now. Brian Bayo will be signing a 6-year, $55 million extension with a $21 million club option on a 7th year there for Boston. So, I mean, that's about $9 million a year. And if he's really good, then they'll pay him $21 on the 7th to stay in Boston.
Yeah, it's the model we've seen teams use where they buy out a bunch of the years of a young guy in arbitration. It makes sense, especially they do it now. I think within a day or two of the news that Giolito was out for the year or most of the year. So they're locking up a guy that they think could be one of their guys.
Yeah, I mean, pitching depth will never hurt you, and they definitely seem to need it right now. I mean, this is a guy, though, when you look at it statistically, not to be negative, but, I mean, he has appeared in 41 games and started 39 of them over the last 2 seasons. He's got a .437 ERA and a 1.46 WHIP, 187 Ks and 214 and a third IP. So, I mean, are any of those numbers jumping out at you? I
mean, not really, but for around $10 million a year, you can't really complain in the way that baseball works now.
Yeah, it's $10 million a year of four.
I mean, how much are guys getting these days?
I mean, that's almost above league average.
And he's also young, so there's room for improvement.
I guess maybe they see something in him, but as of right now, those numbers are not jumping out. Nearly a 1.5 base runners per inning. That's a lot, man.
I don't have a personal opinion on it because I really don't. I haven't watched him much because I'm not a Red Sox fan. But every Red Sox fan that I saw on Twitter was pretty happy with the move. They were excited that they had him locked up, so they must be a fan of him. So they got to see something.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan, I understand because I think I would like the Mets locking up pretty much anyone that I was a fan of as well. But in hindsight, we'll have to see how this deal ages.
Yeah, I mean, good for Brian Bayo, and honestly, good on the Red Sox for taking a shot on the kid. I hope it works out for both of them.
Yeah, for sure. We will move it on over to the Washington Nationals now, and they are having a sneaky smart offseason here. They agreed to a split contract with Eddie Rosario where he could earn up to $4 million if he makes the team. I think that's kind of a given that he will, honestly. This is a good move in my opinion. He's 32 years old now. He's a nice lefty bat. You'll remember they picked up Gallo, so this is another move like that. I mean, they're a developing club, and they could use a couple of veterans, and they got them right here.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a little bit of an annoying team to play this year. They're going to be a thorn in the side of somebody.
Yeah.
One team specifically, they're going to just give a problem. It'll probably end up being like the Phillies or something.
Could be the Marlins.
Could be.
As they try to make the playoffs for a back-to-back year, but yeah.
I was surprised that Eddie Rosario was still out there. I mean, this is a guy that was NLCS MVP for the Braves when they won the World Series in 2021. That's only 3 years ago.
I mean, you look at last year, he batted .255 with 21 homers, 74 RBI in 142 games. That's just a solid offensive season.
Yeah, so like he's definitely going to make the team, and then also if the Nationals aren't competing, which they're probably semi-expecting, they can easily flip this guy to a contender for some kind of assets at the deadline.
Yeah, definitely. This is a win-win. I mean, Rosario's really going to get to shine here probably in the middle of that lineup, given his history. He's a 9-year veteran here, and they don't have a lot of that.
It's a smart move for a team that is probably going to be rebuilding.
Could be seeing a 3-4 of him and Gallo.
They do have Dylan Cruz is going to be probably close to making their roster, too, their number one draft pick from 2023, so they're going to be a sneaky team.
They were the ones with that prospect lighting the world on fire in spring training, right?
James Wood, yeah.
Yeah, James Wood. So, I mean, bright future in Washington and a sneaky smart offseason as they sign a couple of veterans, lefties in particular.
Yeah, they're going to be a pesky team.
I agree. Real quick, I wanted to mention this. I don't want to give it too much mind, but Yoshino Yamamoto has looked a little rough in what he has pitched. He's pitched 2 games and only 5 innings here, but he's given up 7 hits, 3 walks, 5 earned runs in those 5 innings for a 9 ERA and a 2 whip. Stuff's not really landing. He's having trouble putting guys away, but when the stuff does come out, like that splitter, it looks nasty.
Yeah, he's always going to have nasty stuff. I mean, I'm going to wait until it's the regular season to judge him for this because, you know, it's spring. Everybody's kind of they're waking up. It's only been 5 innings, so it's a very small sample size. And I did see a highlight film of the hits that he gave up. A lot of them were infield hits, just guys beating out balls that they probably couldn't have in the regular season because all the starters would be playing. I don't know. I'm not going to overreact to it.
No, you definitely shouldn't. This is a guy who just got to the States as well, so even if he is a little shaky at first, yeah, I'm sure he'll get his wheels under him. It'll be super interesting to see how he plays once we get to regular season competition. I'm locked in on his starts.
He's going to be, I would assume, the guy that starts the season because the Dodgers and Padres are playing in Korea on the 20th.
I would think that was part of the pitch, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be him now, so.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm not overreacting to it either, but I am absolutely locked in on when he pitches. He's fun to watch because he's got great stuff, and with this storyline of can he do it over here? I mean, it's going to be a fun season to watch.
I'm definitely curious to see how he looks on March 20th because we're very close. I mean, we're only, 12 days away from that?
Yep.
That's close, man.
Very close, very close. The last thing we will talk about here is some bad news for 3 teams in particular. Sonny Gray has got a mild hamstring injury, so he'll be on the IL to start the season. Justin Verlander is still building back up from his shoulder injury, so he will be on the IL. And you mentioned this in passing before, but Lucas Giolito, who just inked a new deal to go play for Boston,
2-year deal, yeah.
He will start the season on an IL, and it turns out that he does have a partial UCL tear. He could miss the whole season. Yeah,
so, I mean, this is what I would assume Scott Boras was hoping for with guys like Snell and Montgomery still out there.
Most definitely.
Injuries, I mean, we see the Mets have dealt with it. Senga's going to be on the IL to start the year. These teams are going to start to become desperate, and maybe they ink short-term deals with guys like Snell and Montgomery.
I could see that for sure. It's rough for the fans from an entertainment standpoint. These are some of the biggest names in the game just going down.
I just fully see Jordan Montgomery in a Red Sox uniform because of Giolito going down.
What's crazy about that is that's been rumored since, what, December?
Yeah, so, I mean, why not now? You have a spot open, you really need somebody, and the guy's out there. He'll take a 2 to 3 year deal, I would assume. At this point, it's March 8th.
Kind of a match
Get on the field.
Kind of a match made in heaven if you ask me about it.
I wouldn't be surprised if we hear that happen soon.
Yeah, in terms of the Astros, I think they're going to be okay. That's an organization with plenty of
They're
depth.
not panicking.
They're not going anywhere, I don't think. And the Cardinals, I mean, I don't think that they're going to pivot. Doesn't really seem like they're adding anything else.
No, I don't think so. And I also don't think he's going to miss a whole bunch of time.
No, with a mild hamstring injury, I mean, to start the season on the IL is tough, but I mean, hopefully it is just
he will have to ramp up a little bit, too, because he's not going to get to over the next 3 weeks now.
Yeah, who was most definitely the ace of that staff.
He still is.
Yeah, I mean, he still is, but I mean, he is not going to start the season with them, so
very tough.
That'll be missing from the top of their staff, but we'll see how they bounce back, all of these guys.
Yeah, and we'll see how the free agent market moves now with a bunch of pitchers going down.
And it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know what kind of season the Boston Red Sox will have, but if they're competing late in the season, does Lucas Giolito try to make a comeback?
We'll see, yeah. I mean, I can't believe that we're talking about a baseball game of regular season stature being played in 12 days, and 2-time Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell is still a free agent.
Yeah, it is going to be fun because, I mean, those deals got to happen.
They have to.
They just have to.
It's got to be soon.
JD Martinez, we were talking about MLB. Well, I mentioned MLB The Show in the intro. I mean, JD Martinez is one of the top power hitters in that game. He's on that list, and he doesn't have a team currently.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I mean, it's insane. So those guys, at least those two, got to get a team, and I'm sure there's definitely more as well.
Teams are waiting for the prices to come down, and we'll see what happens as the season draws closer.
Baseball is back. Thank you to everybody for listening wherever you do. This was episode 82 of the 9 Frames podcast. It is Friday, March 8th, 2024. We hope you have had a good week. I have been Bill Whalen.
And I've been Mike Whalen.
Be sure to catch us, as always, on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is 9 Frames, and our X is at 9 Frames Pod. Please follow us on there, subscribe, like, comment, and share if you enjoy the content.
Yeah, we appreciate it as always, and like we've been saying for the whole episode, I mean, we're getting really close.
Yeah, I bet all of you, just like us, cannot wait for regular season baseball. It's been exciting seeing our guys in the threads already. Can't wait until the games start counting.
Yeah, and hopefully we have some big news to report on Monday.